Hello everybody, welcome back to PreCentral.net's coverage of the Palm Pre. We've got lots and lots of videos, and in this one we are showing you the web browser, simply called Web. It's based on WebKit, and so you know it will design pages very, very well, just like the iPhone or the T-Mobile G1. When you boot up the browser, it shows you a list of your top bookmarks, which is pretty convenient. You can also hit the menu to go to a list of bookmarks, and you can see the ones that are preloaded for you there. And you can also go into the preferences. I love going into preferences. And so you can see the different options, block pop-ups, cookies, JavaScript. We're going to go ahead and clear everything, history, cookies, and cache, so that you can get a accurate feel for just how fast this web browser is. And we'll hit back. It is really, really fast. You're going to be stunned at just how good this thing is, especially when we get to the head-to-heads a little bit later on. So naturally, we are going to go to our favorite website, PreCentral.net. And so we'll load that up and we will start it. Five seconds. And there we go. Just about 10 seconds in and the page is almost completely loaded, but definitely you've got enough there to start looking around at content and scrolling around. You can see I just double tapped to zoom, and you can double tap to center on a div and then double tap to zoom back out. You can also use multi-touch gestures to pinch in and out, which is very convenient, very helpful, really makes a page dynamic. Of course, you can select stuff, tap on fields to enter text, and so on and so forth. In addition to all this multi-touch pinching and zooming and double tapping, you can also turn it. Well, actually, okay, just like on the iPhone, if you hold it horizontal, you gotta actually give it a twist. There you go. You get it in landscape mode. And the really neat thing is when you've got it in landscape mode here, the back area, which typically gives you back in a browser, if it's horizontal, you can flick to page through the web browser. So you can just page through very quickly. Makes it really convenient. So we'll get ourselves back up into landscape mode here. Now, just like these other modern web browsers on modern cell phones, the Pre lets you look at multiple pages, but rather than doing it with tabs, they just do it with separate cards. So a web page is an equal citizen to pretty much any other app on the Pre. It just shows up as a new card. So you can see I hit menu there and then hit new card to bring it up. And so we'll go visit another web page here, Trio Central. We are loading this over Wi-Fi because my EVDO signal is pretty slow. But if you do have a good EVDO connection, it's pretty quick. And so you can see there's these cards here, and if we rotate the phone, the cards are live. They're always open in the background, and that's actually a really neat thing, which I will show you a bit more later. We'll throw open another card here, and let's go to another web page. Let's go to something a little bit more complex, our sister site, crackberry.com. There's a lot of JavaScript on this page, a lot of graphics, a lot of little widgety things. So let's see how the Pre handles that. And boy, so far so good. It seems to be handling it pretty darn well. And of course, we will double tap to zoom in before the page finishes loading. You can check out the content. And we'll zoom way in, and even this little ticker at the top, that works fine and is moving there. So that's pretty good. The phone doesn't support Flash, unfortunately. That'll come later, although it does support YouTube videos, but there aren't links for YouTube videos when you see them embedded on a page, which is pretty disappointing. Of course, we know the reason you really want to see what's going on here. We want to show you a head-to-head between the Palm Pre, the iPhone 3G, and we're going to throw in the T-Mobile G1. All three based on WebKit, all three very good browsers, good at rendering pages. And what we've done is we've loaded up the PreCentral.net site on all three, and we're going to start with just a quick refresh test. So images are already in cache in all these phones. They're all running off of the same Wi-Fi. So this is going to be a pretty good head-to-head. And we're going to start with the G1. We're going to give it a chance to start first, and then we'll do the Pre last, and we'll see who wins here. So go, and we'll start the timer on the Pre. And so you can see they're all loading up, and we're at the 5-second mark, and we're at the 10-second mark, and the Pre is just about done. Of course, remember we hit it last, and they're loading up the last little JavaScript bits there, and there we go. That took a little bit longer than I expected for all those browsers, but the Pre is finished. There, the iPhone just finished, and the G1 is still working on it. But before you get too harsh on it, you can of course interact with the page before it finishes loading, pan around, and so on. All right, well let's load up another test. Let's go to a page that I haven't been to on these phones. We're gonna go to NewYorkTimes.com. That is the web page that everybody always wants to test. So we're gonna get it started here. We'll get them loaded up here we'll open up a new tab in Mobile Safari on the iPhone, and we'll get that typed in. You can see the action for what it takes to get a tab going. The iPhone does have that nice .com button, so I had to give it that. About the same number of taps to get into a new tab in the iPhone as on the Pre. Although, as I said, the Pre card is an equal citizen. It stays open in the background. Okay, we've got our URLs typed in on all three browsers, so let's get it going. We'll hit go, and we'll start the timer on the Pre. Go. And here we are. Looks like the iPhone and the Pre are neck and neck, and the Pre is nearly done, and the iPhone is actually pretty close too. And on both, you can, of course, start interacting with everything right away. Same with the G1. Although the Pre has now finished, and the iPhone is still working on it, and so is the G1. And I think it's pretty safe to say that the Pre is definitely the faster browser out of these three, if they're working off of Wi-Fi, all things considered. You know, for your carrier, you know, speed, it all depends on your signal, where you are, and so on. I've got pretty poor Sprint signal in my area, pretty decent AT&T, which is the opposite of what it is for most folks. Let's try one more page. What the heck? We're gonna open up another card. We're gonna open up more tabs, and we're gonna load eBay here. So we'll punch in our eBay.com into every phone, and we've done that. And so we're gonna hit go, go, and go. And we are running, and look at that, the iPhone is done, but it has an unfair advantage. It's got an iPhone customized page, and look at that, the Pre is already done. Page that's customized for the iPhone for eBay. Although, I mean, unfair, but you know, a lot of pages are customized for the iPhone, so we will give the iPhone this round, but just because it got lucky. And let's go to one more page. What the heck, we're gonna open up a new tab, and let's go to the wallstreetjournal.com. We don't want to give the New York Times all the newspaper love, so go, go, and go. And here we are running, and Pre's got content up, the iPhone has content up, and the G1 finally gets it up, and Pre is nearly finished. We'll zoom into some text so you can get a feel for that. And boom, Pre is done, iPhone's still working, and the G1 is also still working. All right, there's one last thing I want to show you here, and I think it's actually pretty cool. So the last thing I want to point out, you can see I'm flipping through the different browser cards here that we've loaded up in our test on the Pre, and they're all open in the background and all have the page fully there. But if we switch tabs on, say, the iPhone, you can see that these pages are no longer loaded. They need to be refreshed. So on the Pre, your cards and your browser cards are fully citizens, they're full apps, they stay open in the background, whereas on these other phones, you know, your tabs don't always stay open in the background. You have to go in and refresh them. And so that's yet another significant advantage for the Pre. So overall, when it comes to the browser, the Pre seems to be the fastest, and it also doesn't close tabs in the background. Boy, oh boy, that is one impressive phone.